If you keep asking yourself, why do I keep attracting the wrong people? People that break your heart, don't treat you overly nicely, and relationships continue to be a sticking point in your adult life, and you have a history of childhood trauma in whatever way that it eventuated for you. Firstly, I am sorry that you went through that. Secondly, there may be a reason that in your adult life you continue to attract and be drawn to these types of partners. So how does this all join together? So if you have a history of childhood trauma that you either haven't fully recognized or addressed, and you haven't extensively worked through this with a trained mental health professional in how your trauma shows up in and influences your dating experiences, it will likely continue to show up in your dating life. When we're raised in environments that aren't emotionally and or physically safe as children, we can often subconsciously seek out relationships with this similar emotional dynamic in adulthood. So what you may find is when you're dating people, relationships or dating experiences with emotionally safe and secure people may actually feel quite boring to you, where you're going, I just don't really feel the spark. And yes, for some people, it might be the odd person that is safe and secure that you don't feel the spark with, literally because who they are as a person. But if you find that you continue to find people who essentially have their shit together, if you continue to find that you just don't feel a spark with anyone like this, but on paper they seem great, or you may have, before you actually met them in person, had a little bit of a good vibe going, this is where it's a pink flag, and I'll tell you when it becomes a red flag. If you are dating someone who very early on gives you butterflies and all of that excitement and that sort of early dating relationship anxiety, like, oh my God, when are they going to text me? And they may come on a little bit hot and heavy, or they can be sort of hard to get and you're chasing quite a lot. Depends on your relationship dynamics. As a child, like whether or not you had to really chase love and attention from your parents or caregivers, or if they were really hot and cold and intermittent with it. Either way, both of those dynamics can play out. But what you tend to find is early on, you're chasing, or this person is chasing and sort of love bombing you. If you want more info on love bombing, there's other videos that exist on this channel. So they're coming on hot and heavy, and early on you've got that emotional excitement and a little bit of anxiety around it. What will happen next if it's with an avoidant attacher? It will often be followed by them pulling away. So they may do a little bit of a slow fade, so they're texting you less and less, which triggers your anxiety more, so you chase them a little bit more. Or they may completely ghost you for a while, or they, out of the blue, despite saying, I'm really into you, I'm loving how this is going, poof, then all of a sudden they just turn on a dime and, no, I'm not really feeling this, sorry, I'm out. And then you're just left like, fuck, what's going on? And you feel a little bit shattered. Your anxiety goes through the roof, but it's a different kind of anxiety to what you were feeling before when it was the early stages and there was chasing and it seemed like it was positive. And then this is where it becomes that huge red flag. So initially you were connected, then suddenly they pulled away. And then if you've left them alone and they circle back around, and they just give you attention again, and normally they will act like nothing happened. They won't acknowledge or apologize with what's happened. They might give you some vague excuse like, oh, sorry, I was a bit caught up with work, or I had a lot going on, but that's all they get from you. They don't acknowledge like, look, I understand what I did was pretty shit. I shouldn't have just ghosted you, and there's no sort of owning and acknowledgement of what they actually did and how hurtful it may have been for you. If you experience that huge relief when they return and you accept this really half-assed excuse that they give you, after you experience this push-pull dynamic, if this person begins to feel like home and you feel really safe and comforted after this experience and you're not on guard, you're not wary, you're just like, oh, they're back, this feels great. This is your red flag. Take pause and pay attention to this, because if you have that history of childhood trauma where there was that intermittent love and reinforcement given from your parents or caregivers, and then if you've experienced this in your dating situation, and after that, instead of being really wary and like, shit, I'm just gonna take a step back and go slow and see where this goes, that's a more healthy response. If you, after they come back, just feel immense relief and you sort of allow things to just pick up where they left off and you're feeling at home, this is that red flag. So very much take pause, journal what's happened, try and reflect on it. And if you can, I would really encourage you to speak to a therapist or counselor to help unpack and navigate your relationship experiences, because this is often a pattern that can start to develop in these avoidant relationship dynamics. So the person you're dating has an avoidant attachment style. And if it continues to perpetuate, it just becomes more and more damaging and dysregulating to your nervous system. And over time, this is what can wear us out and break us down mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Now, remember, this is not mental health or medical advice. I'm not a mental health professional yet. I am undertaking accredited training in this area. This is more coming through the lens of me, myself, having experienced and recovered from trauma and overcome a fearful attachment style. So remember, not mental health advice, just insights from someone who has lived this experience. So if you find any of the information and videos that I'm sharing on this channel of benefit to you, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel and smash a like on the video, because it really helps the algorithm to help spread some of the insights that I'm sharing. And if you're interested, we do have the Avoidant Recovery podcast, where we have our next episode releasing on the 14th of April. Take care. I'll see you next time.